Hashem.
Okay.
You know how to edit them together?
I have a friend who did it for me last time. Okay. So that's what we think. We think that this popcorn has the power to make you full. This popcorn has the power to make you feel full. The water has the power to quench my thirst. My shoes have the power to support my feet from the ground. The heat it has the power. The air conditioning has the power to cool me off. And so I'm confusing the intermediaries and the means and methods by which my needs are met. I confuse them with actually the thing that's giving me my met need. Like a king who says to a king who orders somebody to be killed, right? He orders somebody to be killed. And so he has he tells an officer, this guy has to be killed. And that officer tells a commandant, and that commandant asks the prison warden, and the prison warden goes to the executioner and tells the executioner to knock this guy off. And the executioner takes his sword and goes to kill him. Now, is this guy saying, "Oh, the sword! The sword is killing me! The sword is killing me! If only I could get rid of that sword!" What are you, crazy? Not the sword, not the executioner, not the warden, not the commandant, not the officer, the king. He's the one who can stop it. He's the one who's delivered the order, and he is the one who can stop it. Livado, by himself. And my confusion of affording the sword and the commandant and the warden and the executioner, and I afford all these people power over me because I don't think the king. I'm confused. It's not the king Levado who makes the decision. Who's the reason the guy's getting knocked off? That's not I'm confused. I think it's all these intermediaries that have the power and are the ones who have the power to hurt me. That's a complete confusion. That's total confusion. When I think that the air conditioning is making me cool, I'm confused. It's not the air conditioning that makes me cool. Hashem makes me cool. He's doing it through the air conditioning.
I was about to say via the air conditioning.
Via the air conditioning.
My stomach's getting full from the
But
popcorn.
if I think, yes, Hashem is giving me that feeling of being full. Hashem's giving me that feeling of being full.
The popcorn's giving me the feeling of being full, which is through Hashem or via Hashem.
Hashem is making me feel full.
Cool.
He gave me the popcorn in order to do that.
But it is the popcorn. And it is the air conditioner.
It was the kimchi, actually.
Yeah, it was the kimchi, to be honest with you.
Right.
Okay.
So we have to be a little bit goofy, I think. We have to be a little bit goofy about it because we have to shake ourselves out of how foolish. We have to kind of go to the other extreme, I think. The Rambam says, Rambam is the one who invented the idea of the golden mean. The golden mean that you always need to be in the middle. With every midah and everything, you should always be in the middle. Don't be extreme. Like your mother said, right? Don't be so extreme. Or all these mitzvahs. What did she say?
Yeah, she said that it's his mother that said, "Don't be such a proselytizer."
Right, his mother said.
And my mother called me a dilettante. My mother called me a dilettante.
His mother said was always,
And my mother told me I was smarter than all. I said, "What are you doing in Israel?" I said, "I'm learning Torah." She said, "What are you talking about learning? You're smarter than all of them."
Nice. Yeah. So anyway, but in certain times we have to jump to an extreme. If we've been indulging in a certain bad character trait, so then for a particular amount of time we have to kind of like go to the other side and be extreme about it in order to end up in the middle like a tree that's bent over one way. You kind of have to pull it all the way back in order to get it standing up straight. So I think that that's Hashem levado. Hashem by himself, and so that's one element. That's one problem. One option for the fear, right? If I fear, so either it's because I think that God doesn't have power, Like this thing has power. These intermediaries have power. This popcorn has the power to make me full. Do you think that the popcorn has the power to make you full?
I think the popcorn makes me full, and the popcorn is there, etc.
No, the popcorn doesn't make you full. Hashem makes you full through the popcorn. The popcorn doesn't make you full. If the popcorn made you full, the popcorn would have power to make you full. Does the popcorn have power to make you full?
I would not use the word power. The popcorn makes me full. The air conditioner.
But
makes
it's not
me
the
cold.
popcorn's power. It's not the
popcorn has no
popcorn's power. Right, the popcorn has no power.
Yeah.
The popcorn has no power.
Right.
Okay? Nothing has power. Nothing has power. And that's really what we're trying to. Nothing in nature has power in and of itself. Okay? If we give it power, then we kind of make a relationship with that. And then we're kind of like, we do kind of afford it. In a certain sense, we now be, I don't know if we give it power, but we're left to kind of nature.
We give it permission and control.
We give it control. We give it control, and then we take out Hashem's very, very, very good specific control over us because we twist it, we pervert, and we say this popcorn has control over me. If I could just get to that popcorn, I'll feel good.
Is that a function of free will?
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, it's a function of free will, but it's also a function of just being asleep.
No, but Hashem, it's a function of Hashem giving us free will to choose those differences.
Exactly. It's Hashem giving us this, the whole
And the cause and
point.
effect.
The whole point of being in this world, the whole point of creating this world with this ability to be confused about what is doing things, what is making me feel this way, what is meeting my needs, how are my needs met, what has power. That's Hashem's saying, okay, what are you going to live in reality that God has the only power and every need, and he made us needs in order that we should meet him with those needs, that we meet God through our needs, through having needs we meet God? Or do we ignore God and we go to the doctor, we go to the pill, we go to the shower, we go to the air conditioning, we go to the food, we go to the drink? That's what we go to when we've got a need. We go to the money, we go to the bank, we go to the work, right? That's what we go to when we have a need. We don't go to Hashem. We don't think Hashem's the one who's meeting our needs. I have to meet my needs. Thank you, Hashem. That I've got, these things that, thank you. It's like the guy who davens for the parking spot. I'll give $100 if I get a parking spot and the car starts to pull out. Never mind, God, I got one. That is our lives. That is our lives. That is basically our lives. And then we, the other thing, and I'm going to say this again another time, but the guy standing on the top of a building, dumping dollar bills off the building, and everyone walking on the city street, they're just collecting all these bills. Wow, all these bills. Then he starts throwing rocks off the building, and then people get hit with rocks. They look, what are you doing with the rocks? When he was throwing up bills, no one was saying, hey, where's this coming from? Oh, nice, thank you. No. When it's rocks, it's exactly how we are with Hashem. He's throwing billions of dollars our way every single day. And we just take. Okay. Enough for today. I got to go to sleep. Enough for today. Enough of my body working basically 100% properly all day long. Enough for electricity working and everything working, and having food and having a bed and having clothes. Enough of that for today. I'm done. Oh, guys, my toe hurts. Why am I alive? My toe hurts. Oh, Hashem, you hate me. That's the other option. So either Hashem is not in control and these things have power over me, and I don't have a direct access to Hashem, who has the ultimate power, who's in control of all of my food, health, clothing, shelter. Or I do believe Hashem is in control, but I think I don't trust that he has my best interests in heart. Or maybe his best interest is maybe I'm bad, or maybe he's bad, or I don't know what, but maybe I don't deserve to be healthy. Maybe he doesn't want to make me healthy. Maybe he doesn't want to get me out of this financial problem. Maybe he doesn't. And so I'm scared.
So when I called you during the week and I said something about, I forget exactly, but excuse me. most of what you're saying, if not everything that you're saying, which resonates with me, and I think everybody, I don't know for sure, but you're in a relationship, and the other person is
Upset.
yeah, upset about whatever you just said. The air conditioner broke, and and of course, you can't talk to them about, I mean, you could try to say, well, I was with Rabbi Newman, and he said blah 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 blah, which he got from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. It doesn't work.
Yeah. So what we talked about, what I heard, and I hear that, and with us, it's also very hard. It's like the Yenim's, the other guy's upset about the air conditioning. I'm fine. The other guy's upset about the air conditioner. So it's like I can't talk to them. They're so upset. Also with us, terrible things happen to people, and it's sometimes the most terrible things that happen to people that actually finally wake them up to realize how good they had it before, or how much they really have to be grateful. And tragedy and tragic situations and hitting rock bottom, so to speak, propel people to great heights that they would never have been awakened to if they didn't have such a terrible experience. And Baruch Hashem, those people make a breakthrough through the trauma or whatever really crisis situation that they have to deal with. Usually not just the air conditioner is not working, okay? But when we all know when we're in the heat of being upset and angry and having our expectations disappointed, that it's very difficult to try to be reasonable to us, because our egos we're so upset. We feel like we've been disappointed and we're powerless to change it and what's going on, and so it's like that's not the time to start working on bitachon. God forbid that you have a situation that is so tragic that you have no choice but to die or to work on your bitachon. And you work on your relationship with God. Like these hostage families or things like that, below Aleinu, that we can't even imagine the terrible situations what people go through, that they have no choice. Their emotional state it can't be, but they have to turn to God. There's no atheist in a foxhole. It's those hitting rock bottom, those life and death situations that propel us to see the reality and to all of a sudden see through all the shtuyot and say, no, it's just me and God here. But we don't need to have that terrible experience. We don't. We have so many beautiful experiences. We have so many beautiful, amazing experiences. How happy are you that you got kimchi today? Not happy enough. Not happy enough. Not happy enough. Okay, maybe you mumbled a bracha. Okay, maybe you said it with kavana. Either way, it's not happy enough that since I've been up, I have had basically an opportunity to be alive, to be Jewish, to live in Israel. Imagine your legs didn't work today, God forbid. Imagine you couldn't get out of bed today. Whatever is not going right, it could always be worse. And the fact that we have arms and legs and livers and kidneys and lungs and brains and ears and hearing and seeing and families and food and shelter. Am I totally aware that Hashem has given that all to me directly, levado? Hashem has given that all to me, levado. My brain, just the fact that I can think, and I'm not in a insane asylum. I'm not in a rehabilitation home. I'm not in a for people with they're mentally handicapped or this and that. Thank God. God gives me that.
Simon told the story 40 years ago. I don't remember if there's a real punchline, but you'll get it. Obviously, he was talking about a Rav that was, taught kids and worked in a cheder and was, teaching a similar subject to young people. And in the middle of the class, you probably know the story. Somebody comes in and whispers in his ear that his family, who were on a vacation or on a trip, his wife and 11 kids or whatever, and the boat went down and they all passed. And when he heard the story, he fainted. He fainted. Now, this is a guy that was an expert in this particular subject.
Wow.
So, again, as you say, today is not the day that you're in, you're actually faced with this, mountain of stuff to all of a sudden kick in your emunah. Or your,
So don't wait for that day.
So don't
Don't wait for that day where you're pushed
But
into
this was
such a
somebody
situation.
that again was an expert in the area, and when he heard the news, he fainted.
Yeah, no, he fainted. Yeah, I mean that's crazy. That's really horrible. That's a horrible story.
Sorry.
I don't know.
It's a horrible story on
Doesn't
many
that mean
levels.
I don't think that
On many levels.
I don't think that's a contradiction to bitachon and fainting.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
That's an emotional response to hearing something like that. Isn't a knock on his bitachon. But he's just going to sit there and.
But the point is that when things are difficult,
after the fact, I bet he processed it saying in the bitachon box.
Yeah, it's not about you don't have a reaction.
God hates me.
It's about resilience. It's bitachon. The bitachon muscle should be about, for people working on it, it should be about building a muscle. Doesn't mean that when you stub your toe and you don't scream. Somebody honked at me. I'm working on this, okay? This is something I'm working on. And the other day I crossed the street
Road rage.
and somebody honked at me and I started screaming at them. I cursed them. I screamed at them, and I was so furious. I was so furious. I'm crossing at a crosswalk. The guy saw me, and I'm walking across. I'm trying to catch a bus, and he honks me just to be a jerk. Why are you honking me? I'm a pedestrian. Don't honk a pedestrian. Stam. I'm in a crosswalk. Okay, so then I had to bring myself down. I had to calm myself down. No big deal. The person can't do anything to me. Hashem honked at me. Anyway, it's about the resilience. It's about getting back up very quickly. We can lose sight. We can forget that things have power. We can forget that nothing has power over me. We can forget that very easily. But it's just about remembering and reminding ourselves. And let's maybe next week we'll start actually a practical program of how to start getting ourselves reminded of this more. But the question is, do we want it? Do we want it? Do we want to do something? Are we willing to tell ourselves and talk to ourselves from the moment we wake up in the morning, especially at the moments that we wake up in the morning, that there's nothing else but Hashem, that Hashem has all the power. My wife doesn't have power over me. My mother doesn't have power over me. My kids don't have power over me. The bank doesn't have power over me. The stock market doesn't have power over my finances. Nothing. These things do not have power over me.
You didn't know our mothers. There's certain things you got to take into consideration in this world.
So that's what do we because that's the levado. That's the levado that we're talking about. We're coming to a place. Final geula is that we recognize Hashem levado. Hashem levado. Let me tell you a levado story. Right? We said that the highest miracle that comes
the same
in.
as Eino Milvado?
It is. No, that's milvado, and this is just levado. Eino, there's nothing else but him, and levado is only him. Okay? So, and we say, V'haya Hashem melech hakol haaretz bayomahu yiyeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad. His name will be one. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem, which is our God now. Hashem echad will be the one God for the whole world. It's the vision of global levado, that the entire world should recognize that it's only levado, it's only Hashem. Nothing has power. Now, why is this the time? Why is this the time in history that now we really need to be working on this, and this is where we're coming to Geula. And this is the way to get to Geula, because Geula is not going to come about with Hashem, levitating the table and making sea splits and blood turn into water and water into blood, and it's not like that. It's not going to be like that. We have to create it in ourselves. And then we'll see even greater than Mitzrayim. But Hashem is not going to do it for us. This is what the Rebbe is saying. Hashem is not going to do it for us. Even if Mashiach comes, he's not going to do it for us, because that was the point of Yetzias Mitzrayim, where we were on the bottom level, that he had to do it for us. He had to do it for us. He had to throw us a bone. He had to show all the miracles. He had to whip nature and break it and bust it and do these incredible show-stopping miracles. He had to do that for us in order to get us on his page, in order to convince us and get us on there. And then we have the era of the Batei HaMikdash, of the temples, where we saw miracles, and still Hashem trying to get us to see that it's to have a relationship with him. And we are constantly going away and wanting something else in our heart, turning away, and us doing avodah zarah, and us wanting all these things and not trusting Hashem. And finally Hashem destroys the temples and kicks us out. And now we have 2,000 years in exile. So at that point, if miracles kind of stopped, then what is we're still in the process of weaning off that time. And life is still pretty difficult. Like you don't have electricity, you don't have indoor plumbing, you have all these terrible things that people really are very much, it's really, everybody's still into God, right? There's not even a concept that there's no God, right? Everybody knows that there's something else, there's no microscopes, there's no, science. So we're still in kind of like this, everybody's still in there's God, and there's, and there's whatever that is. And so we're weaning off of that as enlightenment happens and the world starts, oh wait, and it was a Spinoza, right? Spinoza was like one of the first atheists who ever existed, a Yid. He basically invented atheism. And he invented modernity, basically, Spinoza. And so that's what we have. We have this moving away from God consciousness, that there is a God, moving towards materialism and science and rational, and also convenience. And not only do I not need God, but I really don't need God, because I've got a job, and I've got a computer, and I've got trading software, and what do I need God for anymore? I've got doctors. I don't need heebie-jeebies. I don't need to go to church or synagogue. I don't need to rub rosary beads. I don't need any of that. I can go to a doctor. I don't need to burn incense.
But isn't that retrograde back to Paro anyway?
One second. And so we're just getting to this place, maybe, and we're getting to this place where if we turn to God now, it's completely from us. It's completely from us. That's, I believe, the evolution from Yetzias Mitzrayim until now. Does everyone hear how it wouldn't be Levado then? It would be Levado now, because there we're still in the drug of everybody's doing it. It's all God, and my life sucks anyway. I got an outhouse, and I gotta spend a week just to do a load of laundry. Like, I need God, So it's not Levado, because Hashem has kind of given us a reason to turn to him, or a necessity to turn to him. And so the pureness of my heart in my connection and my love to God is still not refined, because everybody says there's God. There's no doctors, there's no science, there's nothing else to rely on. What else do I have to rely on but God? And so now enlightenment has created something not God. You don't have to rely on God. Who says there's any God? There's evolution, there's this, there's that. And now you don't have to rely. You can
have enough money in your bank account.
Exactly, and you can get money like that, no problem.
Everything is the wonderful and great.
And it's the people who don't believe in God who are the high rollers.
Go get a job.
They're the high rollers. They're the ones who are living it up with the girls, with the money, with the bling. It's the ones who are rebelling against God who get all the good stuff. So now Hashem has set it up that it is now It's levado. I have the choice to say levado. It is all Hashem levado. Because nothing in the world is in a milieu now. It's in a joie de vivre that, or whatever, the zeitgeist is where's what? There's laws, there's science, there's not God. And that is where I have the opportunity uniquely in this time period to say, no. Hashem levado. But not because he drugged me. And not because he put me in a society where everyone is saying that. In fact, everybody's saying the opposite, even from Yidden. Even from Yidden is not immune. What? Everybody's saying levado. Hashem levado. It's not the government. It's not the army. It's not this. This is not just being from. It's not just being on the rat race. We're trying to get off the wheel. I'm telling you, we're trying to get off the wheel. Because the wheel, you know what I'm talking about. The wheel, the mouse wheel, is about, am I good enough? Did I do enough? Did I do enough mitzvahs? Am I worthy enough? Did I get schar enough? Okay? That's also not levado. Because it's basically, no, Hashem doesn't have
That
full
means
control.
I have to do something.
Means
to
I
get
have.
Hashem's-
Means the mitzvahs have power.
Yeah.
The mitzvahs have power.
Yeah.
The mitzvahs. What do you mean the mitzvahs have power? Hashem, levado. No, Hashem can't give you good if you didn't do the mitzvah
You
well
didn't do
enough.
Shema today, and you're done.
Yeah.
You didn't put
You didn't. Oh, we got a checklist here. I'm sorry. Hashem is bound by this check. Sorry, you can't come in. Sorry,
You didn't pray today?
you didn't do
Sorry.
this. Sorry, Hashem is.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's not Hashem levado. It's not Hashem levado.
You gotta pray today. It's not or else.
Hashem levado has nothing to do with our, not nothing to do with our actions, but it's our heart. If our heart, and you can't fake this by running your hands. Can't fake this by running your hands. Can't fake it by running your mouth. Can't fake it by rapid tefillin. You can't fake it by doing an action. It's in your heart or it's not in your heart.
Oh, so that brings me to my same question from a while ago, is that is there no middle ground? You say it's either in or it's not in. And I'm thinking, well, today I think it's in. And
How is it in?
And yesterday
We're believing in doctors. We're believing in pills. We're believing in money. We're worried. We're scared. Are we scared? If we're scared,
yeah.
it's not in.
Okay, so again,
No
I'm
middle
saying
ground.
yesterday it was. Today it's in. Yesterday,
No qualms, no problems, no stress,
it was
no fear, no rushing, no.
Who's Abraham Gans? Isn't that the guy that works inside? What is he? Hang on a second.
I haven't seen him in a few weeks, by
Yeah?
the way. Yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
seen him in a while.
Sure. Okay, no problem. Is this anybody?
It's not in.
No.
Okay.
It's not in.
You mean even when I say it's in, it's not in,
I mean, the test is.
right?
How do you feel?
Huh?
How do you feel? Do you feel calm? Do you feel calm? Do you feel love? Do you feel serenity? Do you feel peace of mind?
Let's take me
Do you
on.
feel
Let's-
maneuver? No. And not you. It's not you. It's
Isn't the individual that Lonnie's talking about is one day when things are going right, he feels that.
if he feels that because things are going right, then that's because things are going right, not because he feels it. If it's because the air conditioning is working and that's why you're in a good mood, that's not called it's in your heart.
I see. So in other words, right now, one is.
It's good because you believe in the air conditioning. You trust the air conditioning and it's working. And it worked
Right.
yesterday, so you think it's working today. It's working now. It turned on. I feel good because I got the air conditioning working. And I'd rather, you know what I mean?
So the answer to my question is that no, there is no middle ground.
There's no middle ground.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground, and there's also no middle ground Lemitzias. In reality, there's no middle ground. The Tanya talks about it, and Chovas Levavos talks about it. They both say the exact same thing, which is that every Maisa that we do is or Holy of Holies or Sitra Achra, satanic. It's one or the other. There's no like yellow. It's or gold or black. There's no middle.
Because if it's in your heart,
And it's not to say that we're bad or satanic. It's just that that's the option. It's when we do mitzvahs, that's all gold. That's all gold. Can't not be gold. It's mitzvahs. Okay, we could make them better. We can give them wings to fly. Okay, but at least we're doing something that's holy. And when you do an aveira, there's no way to do an aveira good. Aveira is black. Okay, but 90% of what we do is not a mitzvah or an aveira. It's walking down the street. It's having lunch, right? It's schmoozing with a wife or whoever, right? It's not a mitzvah. And so there, it's one or the other. There's no middle ground. Either I'm doing it for Hashem, I'm doing it for a mitzvah purpose, and then it's Kodesh Kodashim, like I'm eating lunch to take care of myself to serve Hashem.
Shem Shemayim.
Shem Shemayim.
Right.
Or it's not. It's just L'Shem my boich. And if it's L'Shem my boich,
So it doesn't mean a bearer.
it's Sitra Achra. Sitra Achra. Sitra Achra.
Well,
It's not.
the
it
Rav
could be
said, he
Sitra
says it's
Achra,
not an
being a
Avera.
Avera.
Well, it's Sitra Achra.
It's not.
Well, that's
it
not
doesn't
so
mean it's
good.
an
That's not
Avera.
so good, is it? It's Sitra Achra. So what the Tanya says, what Chol V'Savava says, there's no middle ground. Either your intention is L'Shem Shemaim or it's not. If it's L'Shem Shemaim, it's Kodesh Kodashim. If it's not L'Shem Shemaim, it's Sitra Achra. That's it.
I'm gonna.
It's a noga.
It's a Klipas Noga. It's the din of Klipas Noga. Klipas Noga is either Kodesh or it's Sitra Achra. I didn't make the rules. I'm just reading them.
No, because now if you say so.
So hold on. This is not meant to scare anybody.
No, I'm
It's not meant to scare anybody or say, oh, I can never do that. It's about our hearts. If we can get our hearts, there's nothing else to worry about. Our heart is where we get levado. It's where we get levado. How do we get our hearts to get levado? How do we get our hearts levado? Because once our heart is shalem, and we spoke about that, the heart is the organ of infinity in our bodies. It's the organ of infinity. It's the one that just keeps pumping nonstop. It just keeps working. It's got seemingly an infinite amount of blood in it. I mean, what the heck is going on with that thing? I mean, where to get the new blood from? Come on, man! It's like infinity there.
It's only 3 million beats since you've been alive. If you're 80 years old, pretty good muscle. If you're 80 years old, you take your 70 a minute times 80 years and 365 days. It's 8 billion or something like that heartbeats in a muscle that doesn't get tired.
Have you ever heard of a muscle not getting tired?
Try that.
Have you heard of a muscle not getting
Even if
tired?
you take
What
this
you're
book
saying
and
Have you heard of a muscle not
Go like
aching
this.
after? Yeah, do that 8 billion times. Let's see. Do that 10, 100. Do that 1,000 times
do that
today.
1,000 times.
And tell me how it feels. Tell me when you want to stop. Boom, 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 boom.
Easy.
So if you're saying about getting it into your heart, that's
Yeah.
the key.
Yeah.
So then it makes sense exactly what the Tanya is saying. That mitzvahs become an expression of love.
It's all about love. It's all about love. And the
Because
purest.
so all your mitzvahs become an expression of what I have in my heart.
Yes,
Why else would I not want to do a mitzvah?
exactly.
If I'm going begrudgingly to prayer, and because I have to wake up, and because my wife, so then it's not. So
Or
what-
alternatively-
again, there's a
Or
fear level.
alternatively, if you just witnessed, if you just witnessed a huge miracle, like you had no food, and then all of a sudden you open your fridge and like you see
Yeah,
like
kimchi.
brrr, like all this, like you're gonna daven. Like there's no choice. It's not about your heart. It's the fact that you
Yeah.
you were just like slapped in the
what
face with a
else should
sham
I
with a
do?
big kiss. Of course you like that. Now, so we are at a juncture in history, in Jewish history, And I'm telling you, it's the older generation that's going to have a more difficult time grasping this.
Sorry, guys.
It's going to be the older generation that's going to have a harder time. They're going to say, this is not sensible. This is not reasonable.
Who's the older generation, by the way?
Us.
You know, when it says like the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law will have problems, you know, this is the problem. Because the younger generation are going to have a much easier time throwing caution to the wind and trusting Hashem. Because let me tell you something. This is a secret. This is the hack and secret of life. If I have, let's say, if I give all my money away and I have no money today, I'm full, I have food, I have clothing today, but I have no money, zero. And I have no idea how money is going to come tomorrow. Okay? But I just ordered a new shaitel for my wife. But I have no idea where the money is going to come from. But I ordered that shaitel because my wife, the Rosh Hashanah is coming up, and there's a mitzvah for me to get my wife a new item. And this is what she wants. And she wants this because this is who she is, you know? And she didn't find them, and she needs it. This is what she loves. And it's it's reasonable, it's not extravagant, it's not sneeze, it's good. Halachically, it's good. And so I say, Hashem, this is my chiyuv that I need to do for you. I'm not doing it for her to like me. I'm not doing it for her to be pretty. I'm not doing it for everybody to look at me and be like, oh, look at her husband. He gets her a new shaitel. What a macher, da-da-da. I'm doing it for you, levado. I'm doing it for you, levado. For you alone, Hashem, I'm getting her that shaitel. Now, you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. And in my heart, I know that he will pay for it. I have no problem. I'm not stressed. I'm not worried. And I'm not running around like a maniac figuring out how am I going to get this money. I know that Hashem, I'll do what I need to do. If I have a job, I'll go to it. I'll do whatever I do. But I know that Hashem, the money is coming from Hashem levado. And I'm happy and calm, which you can't fake. The money's in the bank. No question. No question. Now, the older generation will have a harder time accepting that.
Right.
The younger generation will have an easier time accepting that.
Sure. Rav Henrik Leibowitz used to say, put a price tag on it. How much faith, how much trust do you have in Hashem? $10?
I am not talking about
$100?
the Chovos Levavos alone. I'm talking about every single Rishon,
$1 million?
everybody who spoke about this,
$10 million?
basically, this is what they say. You're feeling comfort about it, signs the check. If you're tzittering, or if you're like figuring out who can I call to borrow money and get this and that, then you're not, then it's not there. It's not there. Then you're not relying on Hashem, levado. And also, if I'm getting the shaitel because I want her to look pretty, I want her to be nice to me, I want to be like this covered guy, I want to be this with the lady with the shaitel, then it's not levado. So what am I? It's like my.
But she came to you and asked you for it, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's say she did.
So you're getting it because she asked you for it.
No, because there's a mitzvah that I need to get her a gift for Rosh Hashanah, and this is what I'm doing. She asked for this. I said, "Oh, perfect! I have a mitzvah. I have to give you a gift for Rosh Hashanah. This will be that."
Who sent it?
What?
Before.
What?
Hashkadosh Baruch Hu was the original one who sent you.
This is what she says she would like.
And he says, "I'll pay for it."
If she is happy, isn't that great for me? If it brings us closer together, isn't that nice for me? That's great. But that's not why I'm doing it. If I'm doing it for Hashem levado, and I have trust that the money's going to come from Hashem levado, that's it. We're good to go. And I'll let you know how it goes, because that's basically the situation I'm in.
I'm sure
You should have kimchi. You should have kimchi.
you should have sold us the kimchi.
Who knows? Some guy's going to walk up to me and say, I hear you make kimchi. I'd like to give you $1 billion right now, and we're going to start a kimchi thing. But here's, just so you know, I'm serious, here's $1 million right now.
That's a pricey shit.
Oh, there's other things. It's not just the shades on.
Wow.
Got a long way to go.
Yeah, I
got a
was
lot of
going to
work
say,
do.
like a 70-year-old me, I think it's not that dissimilar from the 40-year-old guy. It's a 40, I mean, we've come along over the years. So
You used to relying on yourself.
there's a point where, I think the 40-year-old guy, even the 20-year-old guy would say, this is irresponsible.
Okay. And I hear that. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story about irresponsibility.
Sure.
I have to go.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I usually don't leave early, but I got to do something.
Sure thing.
Thanks for the kimchi.
Okay, next week. See ya.
Next
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Okay, Mitzvah. Okay.
That's all. I mean,
Let me ask you something. If the guy goes,
forget my mom, I hear my dad. What the hell did you do that
Yeah,
for?
he was the money
It's
guy. My
like,
dad was the money guy. What are you
yeah, it's the money guy. So it's
a
like,
guy goes on a tightrope. A guy goes on a tightrope, right? He's doing a trick. He goes on a tightrope, and he puts on a blindfold. And you say, "Well, wait, that's irresponsible. Don't put on a blindfold. Don't put a blindfold on. That's irresponsible. You need to see where you're going." What's the guy going to tell you?
No, I don't. My feet see where I go.
So why are you wearing a blindfold? At least help yourself out.
No, because then I won't look down or look away. Look off the
So
mark.
it's more responsible to put a blindfold on. It's more responsible to blindfold because if he takes the blindfold off, he'll get messed up. He'll confuse himself. Listen where I'm going. 1 second. He'll confuse himself.
I get it.
Yeah, he'll confuse himself. So our eyes are mamish confusing us. They're mamish confusing us. And they're going to say, you're irresponsible. What are you doing? You don't have the money. You don't have... How are you going to get it? You're irresponsible. You see, our eyes are confusing because we think...
It's not an eyeball thing.
It is an eyeball thing.
not an
It's
the
an
only that's the
eyeball
only sense
thing.
that picks it up.
It's an eyeball thing. Unfortunately, it's an eyeball thing. That's
By
why
far.
Shema has us close our eyes and say, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Hashem, you are Levadel. You are one. There is nothing else that my money is connected to. I am relying on nothing else but you. I'm doing this for you, by the way, and I am feeling that you are taking care of me, and I'm not relying on any bank manager, on any job, on any salary, on any investment, on any stock market movement. I'm not relying on any of that. I'm just relying on you. I know that my money's coming straight from you. When was the last time we got a check or a deposit and we said, thank you, Hashem, I see that coming straight from you?
Yesterday.
Amazing.
Never.
I'm serious.
Okay, I'm more with him. I'm more with
I'm
him.
just saying, yesterday something came in and I went, I mean, that's the big guy.
Amazing. Then you're there.
I'm not amazed. It's
Then,
not,
no,
I'm just telling you,
it is amazing. It is amazing. It is amazing because that is the whole nisayon of hishtadlus. The entire nisayon, the entire test of hishtadlus is to engage while simultaneously seeing that it has no power.
Like,
hard.
There's a picture.
That's hard.
There was a lot of hishtadlus in order for that to happen. But then after I did the hishtadlus, I walked away, as you would say. The results are not in your hands,
So if while you're doing all that hishtadlus,
which I had to do.
you had to do it. And
No question about it.
no question
However,
about
again,
it.
With your word, hishtadlus is yours, results are his. That's your word.
But when the hishtadlus is yours, the real hishtadlus, real hishtadlus, is seeing through the hishtadlus. And if your hishtadlus confuses you, then you should stop. If your hishtadlus makes you think that you have power or that the hishtadlus has power, then you maybe should stop. Let me tell you.
Hold on.
Chizkiah HaMelech. Let me just give an example. Chizkiah HaMelech. It's like the blindfold. But Chizkiah HaMelech, Yerushalayim was surrounded by Assyrian forces. Okay? Syria was going to attack and destroy Yerushalayim. In fact, they just found Assyrian battle remains outside of Yerushalayim, even though they never attacked. What did Chizkiah do? He said, oh, I don't feel good. I'm going to go to sleep. Hashem, you got to take care of this. Okay. That's irresponsible. You're the king. You've got enemy forces all around, and you're going to go to sleep? You have to mount an attack. You have to mount at least a strategy. You going to sleep? You don't feel good? You're the king. He knew that if he engaged in any hishtadlus, it would confuse him. It would confuse him. He would think that it's now Tully, and he'd be soymech on his hishtadlus. And that's confusing. And so he said, I'm going to go to sleep. And you know what? You can't fake falling asleep. You can't fake that. If you feel comfortable enough that Hashem is taking care of it, that you fell asleep, you feel calm. And Hashem answered that and made a huge nace and destroyed the entire army because he fell asleep. Because he can't fall asleep unless it's for real. You can't fake falling asleep.
There's a picture.
Okay? Even though that was irresponsible, it could have been that was actually more responsible. Because had he said, oh, I got to get up and I got to do this. This has to work. He's confused. And since we're beginners and we're babies with our bitachon, it could be that the more responsible thing to do is less. As long as we can go to sleep, we've got it made. I'm telling you, Hashem is never going to reject that. It's his covet on the line. It's his reputation on the line. Saying, Hashem, listen, this is a need of mine, right? My wife, she has this need. You have a mitzvah. I have a chiyuv. I'm doing what you asked. We're partners here. I'm doing it for you. You're the ones who's providing the money. If I feel good, Hashem must answer. He must. Because if he doesn't, that's like, it's just not. I can say, Hashem, it says it in this book, it says it in this book, I have this book that says it, I can pull out 3 books here that say it. It's just not, that's what's going to happen. But something you can't fake. If it's not for real, or if you're doing things for the wrong reasons, maybe, but it's our, okay? So the question is, do we want it? And by the way, everything gets better. Everything gets better. If we are, I'm telling you, it's the secret of life. I'm telling you, 24 years ago, I said, Hashem, I didn't believe I was an atheist. 24 years ago, I was an atheist. And I said, I came to such a low level, I was really about to throw myself off a building. I lived on the 6th floor. My dorm was on the 6th floor, and I was very seriously contemplating ending it all. I was like, this is ridiculous. And it had to do with becoming an atheist, but I didn't realize it a couple months earlier, deciding. And I said, this is not how life should be. People are miserable around me. It was college. People were just unhappy, miserable, weird. And I was like, this is not what life is about. I know that you have the secret of life. I know there's something that must have the secret to life, that must know how to work this thing, how to work all this. Like there's something that knows everything, knows the whole picture, and knows how to work it. And I was thinking it's Buddhism, it's transcendental meditation. I didn't know what it was, but I did not think it was Yiddishkeit. And I was like, but I'm going to find it. I want to find, there has to be, and I'm going to find it. And within a week, I believe that the Torah was given by Hashem, and we're on the road. And I feel like now Hashem has said, you know what you were looking for? You really found it. You really, really found it, what you were looking for. Because listen, the Torah and everything, it's great. It's amazing, and working that for 24 years and trying to grow in that and everything like that. But this is really it. This is really it.
Hashem wants your heart.
Hashem wants your heart. And that's something that's what final Geula is about. When our heart gets purified, first of all, life becomes amazing, because that's what Hashem wants. He wants our lives to be amazing. We have to kind of disconnect all the trauma of Jewish history as a we have to just kind of like, okay, don't look so closely, like there was a reason for all of that, but it doesn't have to continue like that. That's not the point. The point is to get to us into this point where we've got all that trauma and all that history and all that baggage pulling us away so that it can be levado. That I'm doing it because I know Hashem is levado. Not because he convinced me, not because he petched me, not because he kissed me. Because I am looking with two eyes and a heart, and I know that this is what's right. And then when we get levado, so you remember how we talked about how there was the bittul of being being nullified to Hashem, when 99% of us want to do the other thing, and then 1%, like we still do it anyway, we still do the right thing anyway. There's that bittul of just accepting the yoke. So that's where we are now. But when we connect to our heart and our Moshe Rabbeinu, which is in our heart, I think, then something to do here, then we can get that also bittul of, but it's from us. It's originated from us. Instead of Hashem giving it to us as a gift and then it doesn't last. We went through all that. We've gone through it all. That's it. It's over. It's done now. Now, we need to open our hearts and know that it's going to be good. And that's it. And according to our belief that it's good, that Hashem's one, that it's levado, that I feel good, it will be. It will be. It will be. And if it's not, it's because there's still something, we're still not there. And that's fine.
Tug of war.
Don't think of it as a tug of war. Don't think of it as a tug of war. It's how do we get this? How do we get this totally connected? We have to unlock our inner child also. I don't know about you guys.
Didn't answer the question.
What was the question? Okay.
The question
Hold on
again
here.
about this halfway, like you say, this either it's Sitra Achra or it's.
That's just a reality. Forget that. You don't have to live your life every day like that.
Where is the, where's the Bainani? Where's the guy that is, mamish flying one day, mamish flying, and
Stop being on the wheel. You're still on the wheel. Okay? The wheel. That's your father's voice. Be responsible. Stay on the wheel. Stay on the wheel. Be responsible. That's what the wheel is. Being responsible.
They would tell me to stay away from guys like you. I mean, that's what they.
And so should you listen?
Huh?
Should you listen?
I'm kidding. Maybe.
So
Let's take Ronnie's case, not to pick on him. He said he did his ishtadlus and he got this thing and he was really joyous. It came, right? And
I
you said that's
was
so much
blown
shit.
away, and I go and
But his ishtadlus, again, it depends on his level of how much ishtadlus he feels he needs to do to accomplish that, as opposed to just sitting back and doing nothing.
That's impossible.
hold on. Listen. I just want to.
30
Whenever we
phone
talk
calls.
about this, whenever I talk about bitachon with somebody, they always ask the same thing: what's the balance between bitachon and ishtadlus? This question is a PhD level question that is completely premature. Okay, keep doing whatever you think you need to do. I'm not telling you to not do ishtadlus. I'm actually telling you to do ishtadlus. And I'm betting on the fact that we've actually never done proper hishtadlus in our lives.
That would be because you're doing ishtadlus for Kadosh Baruch Hu.
No, because you're not doing hishtadlus for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're doing hishtadlus because you want money. You're doing hishtadlus because you want a certain result. You're doing hishtadlus because you want to feel good. You're doing hishtadlus because you want somebody to like you.
Ronnie said he did ishtadlus. According to this, Ronnie wouldn't have to do ishtadlus if he really understood his all from Hashem.
Again, that's a PhD level question that is
You get a letter
confusing.
in the mail that
It's
says,
confusing
"We're
because
gonna
we're
cut
not.
you off. We are gonna cut you off unless you do this, and this." So
Are you nervous or not?
during it? I wasn't thrilled. I don't know, nervous.
So that's
I
where
wasn't
it's at.
Thrilled.
The question is, the real prize is feeling good. That's the real prize.
Hashem
The
wants
question
that
is,
to come to you.
how can I be in the physical world and do hishtadlus correctly while not sacrificing my peace of mind? That I have to be that,
Yeah, no.
and in
I was
fact, if I can every time, and this is how.
not happy.
Okay,
I'm not
So this
wasn't
is how.
nervous, but I wasn't happy.
okay. So this is how I do hishtadlus. Hashem, thank you for this letter, because you've given me such an opportunity to be able to see through it and see this is all you. So now when I call, let's see, dot, 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 had me do dot, 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 dot. So first of all, Hashem, please know, this letter means nothing. This letter has no power. That's one. The letter has no power. Even though I may not feel it now, I'm going to tell myself. That's it. We have to start in our minds. Because I see, you're saying our eyes are clumped up. Our eyes are verkrumped. Because we see this letter and we think this letter has power.
Is he allowed to say for clumped?
This letter has power. I see the letter and I'm confused. I already think the letter has power. So I have to first say, this letter has no power. This letter and the people who sent it have no power over me. Only you, Hashem, have power. Okay, what does the letter say? Okay, I need to, send send a check of $1 million to this address by this date. Okay, Hashem, that's what it says I need to do. So if that's what I need to do, I know that you're going to help me. I know that the solution is totally by you, and I am going to act accordingly. And so if I have to write a check, if I have to pick up the phone, if I have to do something, I will do it. But before I do it, I will say, thank you, Hashem, for giving me this opportunity, because I could pick up this phone and think I'm actually holding a real phone and actually pulling a real string and actually really getting $1 million to this thing. And I'm an idiot. I'm picking up a Fisher-Price phone. I'm playing on a Fisher-Price calculator, okay? And I think I'm making things happen. I know it's just a joke. I know you want me to do this because Hashem, you like staying hidden. Hashem likes staying modest and hidden. So you need me to make a phone call so your miracle can stay hidden? I'll do that. You need me to take a pill so that your miracle of my health stays hidden? I'll do it for you. But I know that I'm just doing this to keep you hidden. But I know it's you. And if I can't do it without getting frazzled, that's when I have to take a step back, take a pause, and say, hey, who's really running the show here? Am I really making this? Or am I seeing that this call for my hishtadlus is a opportunity for me to peel away my perception of the world and to challenge, is Hashem levado or not? I get this perfect example. I get the letter in the mail. Is Hashem levado or not? Right? Is Hashem in control or does he hate me? So figure it out. Do I think that I need to do things? Oh, okay. Yes. You're responsible. Okay. Calm down. Hashem levado. He's the only one that has power. You are the only one who has power, and I know that this is good, and that will be good. No bad will happen to me because you are controlling it. No people, no letters, no power, no nothing. Only you can control what's going to be. Nachon or lo nachon? Is that right or not right?
It's right.
It's right. So I might as well feel it because it will make me feel happy. Because it's not about whether I did the mitzvah, kept Shabbos right, or all these things. It has nothing to do with how my meisim were so good yesterday. I could have battled Zman and all of that. I could have. That's not what this is about, Hashem. This is about you, levado, and me feeling it good. And that's my key. If I'm doing Shabbos so you'll give me money, then my Shabbos is garbage and the money's garbage and take it all. I'm not doing Shabbos for you to give me money. I'm doing Shabbos because I feel an intense debt of gratitude for all of the blessings that you've given me since I've been alive on this earth. And not a trillion Shabbases that I could keep perfectly will ever amount to one day of chasadim that you've given me in my life. Nachon or lo nachon? So I'm not doing Shabbos to get money, to get a good result. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because Hashem, you told me to do Shabbos. And I have a big debt of gratitude because of every single tova in the entire world that I've ever gotten, because it's all from you, Levado. And so once I'm aware of all of that, I'm in tune with all of that, then I'm also, bitachon is now very easy. Because if I am so in touch with all of the bracha that I have, and realize that if a billionaire lost an arm, he'd give all his money for an arm, and I have it. That every one of us would give our entire fortunes for 10 minutes of air. And how many minutes of air have we gotten today? That Hashem has blessed me with so much money, so much, every food, how my life has worked out materially. Oh, I'm an idiot. Because look at all the breath. I think Hashem's going to screw me over now? No way. And then Hashem says,
Someone taught
yeah, you got it. And it may be a tightrope walk. It may not come out clear until the very last minute. But that's why we need to put the blindfold on. Because if I get free, I don't want to get spooked. Did I tell you the story about coming home from the airport? From Lakewood? Did I tell you about coming home from Lakewood? We went, you know New York? Okay. We went from Lakewood on Sunday morning in July. Sunday in July, we went from Lakewood. What?
Up to the thruway.
We went from Lakewood to the Ohel in Queens.
Oh, yeah.
And then to Newark.
Right.
Okay? The 3:30 flight to Israel. 3:30 flight. We left at 10 a.m. Okay? 2 hours to the Ohel, and I had no ways. We were following my father-in-law. Okay? And as we left the driveway, unsure exactly how the timing and the traffic would really work out, I said to the car, my wife and my kids, I said, Hashem has given us such a beautiful trip up to now. This trip was mamish beautiful. Do you think it's going to get screwed up now? Do you think it's going to be a balagan now? Do you think he's going to have us miss our flight? It's been such a beautiful trip. Of course, the ending will be also nice. We'd have nothing to worry about. And we go off, and we get so bludgeoned, okay? We miss my father-in-law. He makes a turn. There's some truck that comes in the way. Right in by YU, on the way to Newark, my wife had happened to see a sign, Newark via GW Bridge. So as we turn around, it's like, oh, should we go on the GW Bridge? I was like, yes, go on the GW Bridge. We had no idea what we were doing. We had to get gas, okay? So it's now 2:15, and we're pulling into Newark Airport. 2:15. We're pulling into Newark Airport, and we're about to get into the terminal, and I veer off and leave the airport.
Right.
At that point, I lost my cool. We made it. It's a tightrope. But the whole ride was me, Hashem. This is fine. And if it doesn't work out, obviously it's a big sign. But we're not going to go visit the Ohel and have such a beautiful trip and then miss our flight. It's not shaykh.
It's like
It's not
Yehuda said.
shaykh.
Yehuda said, he says, you think that Hashem would allow that angel to teach you the whole Torah before you came into this world, and then you came into this world and he'd abandon you?
If we are connected, if we're connected to all those dollar bills that are flying into our lives every single moment, and we know that they all come from Hashem directly, not because my body worked yesterday great, now it works today, not because I had an arm yesterday, and now for sure have an arm today. It's a given. Hashem is giving me my nails, my eyelashes, my veins, my nails, my hair, every single thing, every single moment he's giving me. And it could change like that. And so every single moment is another moment to be, wow, Hashem, the pelaploim, to make me able to come here. You know how many billions of things have to work right for me to be able to sit here and talk to you?
And this all from an atheist.
All from an atheist. I could stomach being an atheist for 3 months before I was going to jump off a cliff. It was in New Mexico I became an atheist.
I did. I was an American Indian atheist.
Okay.